Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Grow Through It podcast. My name is Julia and today we are talking about chronic pain. This is my personal experience with chronic pain. This is not medical advice. I'm sharing something that helped me when nothing else did. So take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you're currently in chronic pain, I just want you to know I see you. And this episode is meant to offer hope. I want to first begin with my journey with chronic pain. I started to get back pain at the age of around 12. I was in gymnastics, I was arching my back a lot in skills and putting a lot of pressure on my back. I started seeing a chiropractor at age 12, and since then, I just had chronic back problems. At this point, it would hurt here and there, especially with increased activity, but it wasn't debilitating. It got really bad when I was in a toxic relationship. There was a lot of stress, fear, and nervous system overload. And stress causes a body response. So my back was in constant pain during this time, and it got really, really bad. It was at a point where I would vacuum the floor or shovel the sidewalk, and I'd have to come in and lay on my back on the ground just to have some sort of relief. It would seize up and I could barely move. I was still able to work out and run, but certain activities really triggered it. And even sometimes when I wasn't doing anything, I had pretty bad back pain. After I left that toxic relationship, though, my back pain dissipated quite a bit. It was almost gone. And that's when I first started to get a little curious about why it went away. And I started to learn a little bit about the body's stress response. So it got better for a few years up until I got into my car accident. I'm not going to get in too much detail about this accident because I did a whole episode on it, but I spent over a year with really bad back pain. At first, it was really bad. I wasn't able to do my normal workouts or lift anything remotely heavy, and I had to really be careful about how I moved my body. I was seeing physio, acupuncture, massage, a kinesiologist, and although those things helped, I was still experiencing pain every day, and I wasn't back to my normal activities. I started searching for information on what else I can do. I was thinking maybe it was trauma related where I have to work through it. I was seeing a therapist and I tried EMDR, which helped me be not afraid to drive, but it didn't help my pain. I thought maybe there was a spiritual route I could take. I was honestly at a loss at this point. I was getting depressed, thinking this would never go away. That's when I started searching for books on chronic pain. I found this book called The Way Out by Alan Gordon, which is about chronic pain, and it completely changed my life. After reading just a few chapters, I was already noticing major changes in my body. I started being able to work out again. I tried running, and I was experiencing significantly less pain. I recommend you actually read this book if you have pain. It helped me realize that the pain I was experiencing was in my head. Although it felt very real and I was experiencing legitimate pain, it wasn't because I was injured anymore. That injury healed long ago. It was because my brain thought I was still injured and it was trying to protect me. And I want you to know the pain is real. You're not making it up. Your nervous system is creating real pain signals. My injury had healed though, but my brain was still trying to protect me. But just knowing that majority of chronic pain is stemming from your brain, not your body, completely changed my experience. I finally had true hope that I could be better. And it's not just with old injuries or unexplained chronic pain. He said in the book, even if doctors tell you that you have bulging discs or some sort of structural problem, it can still be stemming from your brain. He said that most people have deterioration of the spine just from life. Now, I'm not saying not to go to the doctor or not take what they say seriously. You definitely should. But I think it's also important to consider the information in this book. Now, if you're listening to this and feeling frustrated or skeptical, that's okay. If you've been dealing with pain for years, it can feel crazy to think that reading a book and implementing just a few small things can reduce or get rid of your pain. Pain sometimes becomes part of our identity, but I ask you to just be open and curious about it. The type of pain he's referring to is called neuroplastic pain. There are signs in the book that your pain might be neuroplastic, and I had all the signs. It's also not this woo-woo thing. Yes, your thoughts create your reality, but there's actual science behind this. He researched and did studies and scans on many patients, and the stories he told about these patients are so incredible. He said in the book that when you're given an explanation for your symptoms, it can be really relieving. And I've noticed this too with myself. Sometimes I just want a diagnosis. I want to know that what I'm feeling is real. But there is a downside to this. Medical diagnosis can reinforce the idea that there's something wrong with your body, even if there isn't. He also said that most chronic pain is neuroplastic. He said we may develop wear and tear, we may suffer injuries, but our bodies are quite robust and resilient. I'd like to share some of the methods I started using from this book. The first one is a body scan, and this is where you just lay there, nice and relaxed, and just scan your body from head to toe. During this, you just want to notice if you have any pain. You're not trying to control the pain or attach any emotions to it. In the past, there has been many times where I feel pain and I get frustrated. I start thinking, oh, of course I'm in pain again, or will this ever go away, or attaching some sort of emotion to it. But if you get rid of that and just start to get curious about the pain, it's actually pretty amazing how much it relieves it. The main thing that I do, though, is I just talk to myself. I remind myself that I'm safe. So I say things like, I am safe. I am not injured. I am not in pain. I'm okay. Thank you, body, for protecting me, but I'm not injured anymore. Sometimes when I feel pain creep up, I'll just say these things and it goes away. I do this in my day-to-day life, sometimes when I'm working out or when I'm running, especially when I first started to get back into the gym. I started to be nervous about getting injured again and hurting my back. But oftentimes when we have fear, our brain goes into protection mode, and that's when pain happens. So instead of being fearful of things, I just started saying, I'm okay, I'm safe. And it truly helped so much. And it sounds crazy, but I promise you it worked. I am now back to doing regular workouts. I'm lifting heavier again. I'm running on the treadmill. I was doing a little bit of boxing with Paul the other day. I'm doing yoga. I'm back to doing all the things I used to do. Today, I'm actually really sore, but it's muscle soreness from my workouts. It's not pain. And it feels so good to feel this type of soreness again because it's been so long since I felt it. There are still flare-ups here and there, but my recovery is much faster. Yesterday, my back was quite sore at work. I think it was from my workout, and I truly think it was because I was afraid to do hip thrusts in case I hurt my back, because that was a trigger for me. But I knew when I woke up today, I'd be fine, and I am. He talked about in the book how there's certain triggers. So sometimes it's sitting. If we associate sitting and pain, when we sit, we're going to feel pain. Or in this case, I was associating hip thrusts with back pain because you are using a bit of your back in hip thrusts, and it's caused me pain in the past. So I was afraid to do it, which is why I think I felt pain. But basically, this is just all about rewiring your brain. This book has truly been life-changing, and I just want everyone to know about it and read it. I'm sure there are so many other great books on this too, but this book was filled with research, studies, testimonies, and it gave me my life back. If you're in chronic pain, don't lose hope. Your body is not broken. read this book and be open when reading it. The worst that can happen, you read a book. The best that can happen, you could be pain-free. I wanted to keep this episode short and sweet so that you can just go buy this book if this resonates with you and start reading it. Maybe you'll be like me, and after just reading about the information about neuroplastic pain, you'll have some relief. And I want you to know I get no benefit from you getting this book. I truly just want to help everybody who has pain because I know how frustrating and depressing it can be to live in pain. I've been wanting to share this for a while now because I read this book a few months ago, but I wanted to really see if this would last, and it has. Today I ran for 7 minutes straight on this treadmill 3 times, and I don't think I've ever been able to do that. I also had zero back pain doing this. I'm just so grateful for this book and for this information, and I really hope if you experience pain that you'll give this book a chance and be open. It's also not even a very long book. It's only 170 pages. I read it really fast, and it's just crazy for me to think that 170 pages would completely change my life and help me be able to do the things I want to do. So I'm just so passionate about this. And if you do have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram at growthroughit.pod. I'd love to talk about this. If you do read this book, please let me know what you think and if it helped you. So that is it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, I would be so grateful if you would leave a rating, review, and follow or subscribe and share it with someone you think would benefit from it. After reading this book, I have recommended this book to so many people who I know are in pain. So if you know someone in pain, get them to listen to this episode or even just send them the book. I will link the book in the show notes. You can just find it on Amazon or wherever you get your books. If you would like to suggest a future topic idea or ask a question anonymously, you can use the link in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for listening, and remember that you are worthy. See you next time.